I would know how to beat him. Okay, I'm not disrespecting his ability. He is a fantastic boxer. He is a great fighter. I would know how to deal with him. Certainly, I believe my son can. No, sorry, let me change that. I know he can. And it is in the knowing that he will go forward and do this. Eddie Hearn has to do the job of actually making that fight in September.
And you know what? He was right the first time. He believes that he can, but not many do. Gennady Golovkin is good, and Chris Eubank Jr., from what I've seen, covering him for about 9 fights or so, he's lacking some fundamentals, and also his defense is suspect. But at the same time, you can only rate him against the caliber of opponent that he has fought. Now, when you look at his next fight, which is happening this weekend, June the 25th, 2016, on the undercard of Joshua versus Brazil and Groves versus Murray, he's taking on one countryman by the name of Tom Doran, or Doran, however you pronounce his name. I've heard, Sky Sports announcers jack his name all up. But anyway, he's 17-0 with 7 KOs. Now, this could be a situation where you can look at it and say, okay, well, he is undefeated, and we really don't know too much about him. But I did get to see him fight on the Prize Fighter. He fought 3 fights on the Prize Fighter. It's like it's a UK Sky Sports one night tournament kind of thing. And he fought a fighter by the name of I forgot his first name, Keeler. He fought him in his last fight, and he fought him last year in the Prize Fighter tournament. And when you look at his resume, there's really not there's no names that you know. But go and watch his fight against Keeler. Let me get this guy's name, because I was just watching the fight. Yeah, he fought Luke Keeler, Kello Rindo, and then he fought this guy by the name of Mike Belez or Biles, when it was this crazy knockout. It looks like the hand of God came down and stopped Bayless, or whatever his name is, from going down. But the point I'm trying to make is, it is heavily rumored and now being openly talked about by the promoter of Chris Eubank Jr., Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, that Gennady Golovkin is next, and pretty much that the fight is done for September in the UK. There's no exact date yet, and I honestly believe that it's going to happen. Now, I'm going to let you listen to this. I'm going to put the link to this interview down in the description box so you can listen to it on your own time. But I want to play this last part for you to listen to, and then we're going to go from here.
I made a promise to Junior that if he listens to me, then I will steer him to being better than me, because he can never be as good as, so he's going to have to be better. Now, if that Golovkin fight comes up before, then I'll have to say go for it, because that's how he steps out of my shadow, absolutely. And there's nothing I would love more than that to happen.
Can I ask you how you think you would have got on against Triple G, Gennady Golovkin?
Yeah, I would have beaten him. Yeah.
Tell us how.
I would beat him up. I wouldn't box him. I would beat him up. You see, I'm not going in there looking to see whether I can beat him. I'm going in there to take it. Just as Junior is going to do.
See, now his father's talking some sense. As far as him being able to beat Golovkin, I don't know. But, Chris Eubank Sr. had some real power. And he did have some technique behind it, but his son just doesn't have that. And he said the right thing by that his son will never be as good as him. He's got to be better than him, and that's what it is. And I feel that Chris Eubank Jr., wanting Golovkin, and you haven't really been hearing Eubank Jr. talking about Golovkin, but you've been hearing his father talk about Golovkin a lot, especially in post-fight interviews after Chris Eubank. And if Chris Eubank was to fight Golovkin, he would do something that Billy Joe Saunders didn't do, and also he would be daring to be great. Golovkin's got 3 belts, and in this day and age in boxing, it just seems as though boxers don't take belts seriously anymore, and they just don't want to go after a fighter who has 3 belts. He's got 3 belts. He's got 3 belts, and with the way Eddie Hearn is thinking, you know, from what I've learned from his promotional style, from what we've seen is, he's not thinking about a mandatory with Danny Jacobs. You know, because if the WBA is supposed to do what they're supposed to do, then they're supposed to order Danny Jacobs to fight Golovkin. So he's thinking, well, you know, the UK has got how many belts? 14 or something? He's thinking, well, if Eubank just so happens to pull off to beat Golovkin, then we'll have 17 belts and 1 unified champion. And also, there's a chance that he could be an undisputed champion if they make the super fight with Billy Joe Saunders, because at that point in time, if Eubank Jr. beats Golovkin, he'll be A-side over Billy Joe Saunders, even though Billy Joe Saunders did beat him in the first fight. Just my personal opinion. Just follow what I'm saying. He'll have 3 belts to Billy Joe Saunders 1, and it will be a mega, ultra, super, undisputed clash over there. And maybe that's what Eddie Hearn is thinking. You know, now, do they really feel that he can beat Golovkin? From my understanding, they really feel that he can. And Golovkin does have some defensive flaws, but I just don't think that Chris Eubank Jr. has the skills to be able to do that. And people say, you know, when it comes to the Billy Joe Saunders fight, he gave that fight up, you know, the first 6 rounds and all that. He lost the fight. No matter how you slice it, he lost the fight. You know, people say he would do different in a rematch. You don't think that Billy Joe would be better in a rematch? Just my personal opinion. But when it comes to Tom Doran, you know, I don't see this guy getting an upset. You know, I've seen him he's been knocked down multiple times from what I've seen, and he's been hurt multiple times by these low-level fighters. But, you know, after I seen Fafara get knocked out by Joe Smith in the second round, and we've seen, you know, upsets before in boxing, anything can happen. But in my personal opinion, Eubank Jr. gets him out of there within 2. You know, the first round he'll toy around with him a little bit and then just, you know, go ham on him. But he's not going to do that with Golovkin. People think that Eubank's going to be doing all that, you know, creeping around and all that shit. You know, people think that he's going to, you know, be unleashing those furious uppercuts just, you know, and Golovkin's just going to sit there and take it just like live bait. I just know. It's not going to happen. It's a whole different ball game. Y'all falling for the bullshit, but his pop, no. Eubank Sr., no. So, you know, I forgot. It was another point I was trying to make, and I forgot. It was a good point, too. But, you know, after this, even if it's not Golovkin, it has to be, you know, big fights. And right now, you know, as they've been talking about, is that it's looking like it's going to happen. You know, when it's going to happen in the UK where the big money is. So, you know, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Of course, there are going to be a lot of American media and a lot of American fans that are going to shit on this fight because they're not staying in the house on Saturday afternoons, you know, Saturday early afternoons or early evening to watch Chris Eubank Jr. fight. So a lot of people don't really know who he is in the United States. They're going to front like they do, but they really don't know who he is. And they don't know that he is close to being somewhat of a global superstar, hate him or love it, outside of the United States. So, anyway, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Second round stoppage, I believe, and it's going to be very interesting to see that post-fight interview. This Saturday is just stacked with boxing. You know, you got Thurman Porter. You know, you got Groves Murray. You got Dylan White versus some guy. You know, I'm sure Caleb Smith is probably on the card somewhere. I don't know. You know, it's a lot of good fights this weekend. We were supposed to have Cuellar Maris, but look at the boxing schedule. If not, go to my Facebook, and I'll be posting it there. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.